So anybody that's a co-host, you might have to hit OK. And so then let us stream go live on Facebook.
Okay. I thought I could add making earrings if we need to fill some spots or holes or whatever, or we don't have to do it.
No, I think it's a great idea,
It
Marlene.
is. It's a good idea.
Okay. I went to Temu and I got some really cheap findings, hooks and head pins, so they weren't very much. And I've got all kinds of beads that I'll probably never ever use, so I'll bring some of them.
Don't we all?
Yeah. And I just figure I'll fill in.
All right, we're going live, everybody.
I printed this daisy stitch pattern and I'll review that and try to help if they have a lot of people trying to make those. I'm just going to fill in wherever we need to fill in, I guess. So, and we still have, I started out with 3 people each time slot and I added 3 more. So we need 6 if we're going to have this make and take. And so there's still a lot of spots that need to be filled if that's the case. So I'm hoping this will fly. I don't know what else you want me to say. I guess we just got to put it back out on the site again and beg people to step up.
Right.
I've got 3 people for Saturday morning from 10 to 12. I've got 2 people from 12 to 2, 1 person 2 to 5. And then Sunday, 10 to 12, I have 2 people, 12 to 2, I have 1, and 2 to 5, I have 1. So there's a lot of holes yet.
Yeah. We need to bend some arms.
And I'm gonna try to get there by 8 o'clock Saturday morning to bring everything in and set it up. I figured 2 hours, that should be plenty of time.
Sure.
So I was gonna come on Friday night and I go, that's just another trip down there because it's over 45 minutes one way to get there. So I'm gonna just come early on Saturday morning and bring everything. And then I'll pick everything up Sunday afternoon that's left that we don't want to send to the fundraiser.
Okay.
To Hannah.
Okay.
So
yeah, so this is the Twin City Bead Bazaar and we still need volunteers. And we need volunteers to be at the UMBS table, but also at the make and take, teaching, whatever, bracelets, earrings, whatever. And that should be fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And we've got a lot going on this month. First of all, we have Lisa here with us, and she's going to be doing a wonderful project, which is a bead embroidered feather necklace pendant piece. But we also have a lot going on this month and next month that we want to go over. The first thing is that Kathy King will be going ahead and speaking to us at our November meeting, which is November 6th at 6:30 p.m. Central. Kathy is an award-winning jewelry artist and the author of a book called Bead Quilled Jewelry, New Beadwork Designs with Square Stitch. But she does square stitch in this really wonderful different way so that you can actually see the thread, you can see the hole. It's just really fascinating what she does. So please join us as a member on November 6th at 6:30 p.m. Jan, will you talk about becoming a member for a second?
Yeah. There's an area on our website for membership. The membership is $35 a year, which is very reasonable. We have 2 bead retreats a year, spring and fall. We have the monthly meetings. We have the Let's Bead Live every month. So lots of great things, along with access to patterns on the website and member only info. So yeah, join us.
Oh, please do. And I will stick as soon as I find where we are being live streamed here, I know we are, I'll go ahead and stick a link to the membership in there.
Oh, great.
We should be live streamed on the public upper.
Oh, welcome back.
Sorry, yeah, all of a sudden my computer turned off and everything went crazy, but I think everything is still good. I believe it looks like we're still being live streamed on the public UMBS Facebook page.
Super. I'll find us and stick that link to membership in there. And so
but that's where, please double check and make sure we are live on the correct page. We thank you for dealing with it. I don't exactly know. My computer just all of a sudden, technology at its best. So I appreciate, and so any other announcements?
well,
the
give
one
me
thing that
just
we
a second. Oh, go ahead.
The one thing we forgot to mention, I forgot to mention at the Twin City Bee Bazaar is that we're setting up to allow members to sell. So that's another thing that you can check in with Marlene if you're interested in selling. Haven't sold before. We've got some really interesting information that Maggie Thompson put together on how to sell if you haven't. And you can as a member you can have a table and sell at the Bee Bazaar.
And we sponsor part of the table fee.
So it's very, very reasonable. And Maggie gave a great talk on how to get started, how to set up with a Square or payment system, or and she posted all that on our Upper Midwest Bead Society page, how to do that. So that way, it's really easy and step by step how to get your thing, and we'll even help you get displays if you need it. People can loan you out, any that kind of help as well. So reach out to Marlene Morris at Morris the Cat. And it's Morris the Cat, what, 22?
22 at Comcast.net.
And you can also reach out to me. Mine is sparklylife@hotmail.com, or you can message us on Facebook or contact through the website. And we want you to just get set up.
I think that sounds fabulous.
And the make and take schedule will also be posted very soon. We've got free classes every day. Stretchy table to make your friendship stretchy bracelets at the Twin City Bead Bazaar. So that whole area will have the vendors, the make and take area, and then the tables with the stuff that UMBS has for sale as well, all the great stuff. So it'll be a great area. So come on over to the area and play with us all day from 10 to 5, October 28th, Saturday, and Sunday, October 29th at the Eisenhower Community Center right off of Highway 7 and 169. And remember, volunteers get in free.
Yeah, that sounds
Gotta add that.
And so we're very excited for that. And Hannah, do you want to talk about our upcoming November meeting, how to be a member?
well, I did already while you were gone. I talked about
Oh,
Kathy
good. You already
King.
did that. Super.
Yeah.
Good.
So, but I do also want to talk about our upcoming second annual online fundraiser. So how you can help is by donating stuff. We already have some fabulous stuff that's been donated to us, and I'll start loading it onto the Facebook page pretty shortly. All of the donations or all of the auction will be online, so you don't have to be a member to to get some really great stuff. So anyway, I'll be once again loading up some of the donations we've already had as a teaser. Now the online auction itself will be running from the 13th until the 19th of November, right here on the Facebook page. So if you'd like to donate, you are welcome to. If you'd like to go ahead and join in the auction and get some really great beady stuff, then you're welcome to do that too. And what this auction is for, this fundraising, is to bring in some really great speakers for next year. We've got some wonderful people that are scheduled, some really exciting stuff. Also to go ahead and bring in more of these Saturday Beading Live with some really great teachers there. So we're going to be, we pay a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit for those. And also to bring teachers in from out of state. So all of that together is what this fundraiser is for. And once again, that will be right here on the Facebook page. And I'm going to be loading up. I'm probably going to start loading up some of the great stuff that we've been donated this week. And then we'll be continuing all the way up through the 13th when it goes live, and you guys can bid for them. Some of them will be buy it now, just a base price. Some of them will be bidding.
Mm-hmm. And on Saturday, the 18th, we will be having our Let's Bead Live, will be our fundraiser where we will be going over everything too live. So if you haven't, for things that hadn't yet sold, it's the last day, last 24 hours of the fundraiser. So we'll be going over maybe some items that are left, or maybe new items that are added. So we want to make sure that we bring as much as possible, and you could join us. And so then you could even bid on it live if you wanted to for our next Let's Bead Live. So we want to we want to invite you to be part of it, in any way you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if you would like to donate, there's still a couple of ways that you could do that. You can message me and send it directly to me, or you could bring it to Rochelle over at the Bead Bazaar.
Mm-hmm.
So either way will be just great.
Or you could give it to one of the other UMBS members, the board members. If you see them out there in public, you go to a beading thing with them. So that way, because most of the board members will be at the Twin City Bead Bazaar, and we can filter it down that way too. So
yeah, just bring it to the UMBS table.
Exactly. Yeah, super. So other than that, I think, is that all of our announcements?
Yeah, let's get to Lisa. I want to see her.
Yay! Yay! So Hannah, would you introduce our wonderful guest teacher for the day?
Sure. Lisa Comstock Bowling is an accomplished bead artist who comes to us from Indiana. I love the fact that we now have all of these different places that people are members and are joining us. She graduated from Greenfield Central High and then went on to Purdue, where she got her bachelor's degree in consumer sciences and retail. She comes to us live today from Greenville, Indiana. Oh, Greenfield, sorry, Indiana. And she has 5 children, and after all the kids were grown up and out of the house, she picked up bead embroidery as a hobby, and now it's a full-time passion for her. She's placed first in the professional division at the Indiana State Fair. Her designs are also included in the Indiana State Museum's Christmas ornament collection, and those are on display on the Christmas tree every year. She was a featured designer for the Toho Bead Company's yearly design challenge in 2020. And this allowed her designs to be displayed as venues across the world. And after 40 years in retail management, she was able to retire and now teaches bead embroidery classes for the Indiana Bead Society and for us. So welcome, Lisa. I'm so happy that you were able to join us.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and excited to meet some lovely ladies from the Upper Midwest Bead Society today.
So excited. So let's get going.
Okay, we'll get
Let's
started.
get to it.
So I've got one of the finished pieces here, and this was actually designed to go with a bracelet that I taught, and I probably should have pulled that out too, but there was a feather wrap bracelet. It wrapped around, and the front part was a feather, and it was in these same colors. And I thought, what can I teach next? That because I was up, you know, we take turns teaching at our bead society, and I thought maybe I can do something to match that bracelet. And so I came up with this pendant, and I'm a turquoise fan, first of all, but this could be done in a lot of different colors. And Becky, I think you're doing a different color. And so I'm excited to see what you do, but I thought for today, I would go ahead and make it in turquoise again so that I didn't get too confusing. But you should have your focal bead. You should have bags A through E. And then you should also have a piece of cup chain and then the feather pendant. And I already put it on your little jump ring for you there to make it a little bit easier for you. So we'll just start with bead A, and you'll just want to back stitch a row all the way around the focal, first of all. And you can back stitch however is most comfortable for you. I got to change my glasses here. I like to do, and I had someone teach me this, or if any of you are familiar with Alexandra Sidorenko, you guys know her?
Yeah, she actually has taught a couple classes with us.
Okay, well, she taught me this way of back stitching the first row around the bezel to just pick up two. Well, you always want to pick up just two beads, of course, with bead embroidery, but then go back through just the second bead, and it'll pop up that second bead so that when you, or that, yeah, the first bead, so that when you are ready to do the peyote, that bead will just pop right up there. So as you're going around, you'll see this happen. And I do all of my first row of my bezel this way now, since she taught me that. And I don't know anybody else that has done that, at least in any of the classes that I've taken. But it sure works for me. So I try to pass that on whenever I can. And if you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask as we're going along here. This should stitch up fairly quickly.
Hi, Lisa. I'm Joyce. I'm a member. I live in Florida, though. I was just curious. I got the pattern. I didn't see where you mentioned. I assumed that the A bead was the delica, or is the A bead the 11?
The A bead's the delica.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I've taken some classes from Alexandra also, and I love that way that she does it. So she has you pick up two, go back through one, and then they pop up. And my natural inclination is to go around and reinforce and try to straighten it all out at the end. She tells you don't do that.
Exactly. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it just, and it sometimes if you do that, and that then those beads don't pop up, but it will leave like a gap that you can kind of see. If you're going to hide the bottom of your bezel, it doesn't show. But this way just makes it easier, so you're not confused about where you're supposed to bead next. You know, it just pops right up for you.
Yeah.
So Hannah mentioned she wondered how I got into bead embroidery, how I picked it up. I actually started with stringing, as I'm sure a lot of people do, but I worked for Walmart for the last 20 years. I was in management, and on November 15th of, I think it was 2009, it may have been 2010, it doesn't really matter. I fell down my stairs at home and I broke my ankle. Now, if any of you know retail, you know that November 15th is not a good time to be off of work. And my boss was not real happy with me, but couldn't be helped. And I was on crutches and it was winter time and I couldn't leave the house. And my nephew's wife is a nurse and she was making lanyards for her coworkers. And she asked me if I wanted to go to Hobby Lobby with her. And I said, please get me out of the house. And so we went to Hobby Lobby and I bought some beads and took them home and started stringing. And I got so into it that I went to Bead and Button the next year. And I met Sherry Serafini at Meet the Teachers. And I said, I could never do what you do. And if any of you know Sherry, she's like, of course you can. And she sold me one of her kits that was discontinued. And I took it home and I put it together and I was hooked. And this has been my medium ever since. So that's how I got started. And then I started doing it seriously in 2015. And that's when I entered the state fair here in Indiana in the amateur division. And I got best of show. And so I was really shocked by that. And then they asked me to move to the professional division because it wasn't fair to the others, they said. So I guess I figured I was pretty good at it. So I did. You guys got me just in time. I'm having hand surgery on November 1st for my thumbs. I have severe arthritis in my thumbs.
Oh,
I know.
I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna,
I have the same problem, Lisa. But I never did the surgery and I don't have a lot of pain.
oh, I have lots and lots of pain.
Oh, yeah. So I sort of lucked out there, but I saw a couple of surgeons, hand surgeons, and they sort of made it clear that if you don't have a lot of pain, don't do the surgery.
Yeah,
But if
I
you're having
can't,
pain-
I can't pick up things. Like I took like a bunch of Tylenol today because I knew I was going to be sewing. I can't pick up things and I can't, and I think a lot of it was from working all those years with those heavy handheld computers that they used to have at Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a trigger thing on them too. But I went to see the doctor last month and he said, it's up to me whenever I wanted to do it. And I said, well, let's do it while my deductible's met and before I start Medicare. Now the focal bead on these is they're a little, there's a little bit of variance in the size on them. So in the instructions, I put that depending on the size of the cabochon, you may need to do 2 or 3 rows around of peyote. So you'll just have to judge for yourself on that if you have the kit. Because some of them are the dome is a little bit higher on them than others.
And you're using black foundation. Do you see any difference in using different color beading foundations in all your embroideries?
I prefer to use either black or gray. I don't like the white because I feel like I feel like it's gonna show. I know some people like to use the white, but unless I'm using a lot of white beads or lighter color beads, I don't like to use it. I made my stepdaughter a headband when she got married, and I used white then, but most of the time I'll use either black or gray. And I get the foundation, it's just a stiffened felt, and you can get it at either Hobby Lobby or Joann's, and you can get it in a lot of different colors.
How about cork? Are you big on just going straight onto cork?
I do like cork a lot. Actually, I have on a necklace. I don't know if you can see it or not. This one, I'm teaching this for an art gallery here in town in December, and it's got a cork background. You
Let's see,
can't
I've
it.
got
There we
your
go.
spotlight. There you go. All right.
Ah, yeah, nice.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah, one of the classes I'm teaching for our bead society at their fall workshop is on a cork background.
So you said you started with a Sherry Serafini kit. Did you ever take any of her classes?
Oh yeah, every chance I get.
Okay.
You can
I really miss the bead and button show.
We all do.
I did the Bead Fest show, Maker Fest show in Pennsylvania twice. And I do really think that those are going to be a wonderful new replacement for bead and button. They're more class focused and things, and I like the mixed media. So there's I do think, and now it's coming to Milwaukee, or it just did its first year in Milwaukee in the spring. So I know that's a traditional bead and button location. But Lisa and Maggie are doing the Mesa Maker Fest show in 2 weeks. So if anybody is down, also Sue Adam Neal is doing it. Some other teachers are down there. If anybody is in that area, Mesa, Arizona, the 26th, 7th, and 8th is when the Maker Fest is down there. But it was really fun to see everybody.
So what other kinds of crafts did they have at the show? Quilting and
Yeah, it's Stitch Fest, Yarn Fest, Sew Fest, and Art Fest, Bead Fest.
wow.
So the booth across from us was this wonderful clothing design pattern technology. So whatever pattern you wanted, you popped in your computer database, and it basically shown your pattern, your size, on an overhead projector onto your sewing table, onto your fabric, and you just cut it out, trace it and
Wow.
cut it out. It was so cool to watch. And then the sewing machines, the embroidery sewing machines were on the other side of the aisle from us. So you could just watch them make all your stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. I wish we could learn a sewing machine to bead for us.
Yeah,
And then there was,
technology has come a long ways.
exactly. And then there was an artisan who did that mixed media oil painting, drip painting, mandala painting, all that kind of stuff. She was on the other side of us. And so it was really mixed media. So yeah, beaders, embroiderers, there was a giant quilt display.
Oh,
And so all the classes as well were everything from metals to beading to sewing. I mean, how many of you people only do one thing? You only bead. You don't do anything else.
I am learning how to drop spindle.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I watch a person on Instagram do that and it looks mind-blowing. So
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
someone needs to tell
excited.
me what drop spindle is.
It is spinning your own yarn, often from raw sheep wool.
Cool.
So sometimes you get it already carded, and then other times you brush it and get it prepared even before you spin it. So yeah,
that's what I've been watching is the people brushing, preparing, mixing
Yeah.
the colors on the things, and then what it comes
Yeah.
out to later after you spin it. And
so my daughter's boyfriend's mother passed away. May she rest in peace. And he gave me his mother's spinning stuff.
oh, nice.
And recently I took a fiber arts class and I went, oh, I have that stuff in my garage. Maybe I should get it out. I might be able to use this in my beading. And
Oh,
then I tried to do it on my own and I kind of like it. So I got in touch with some people around here who are good at it and do it, and they're going to teach me. So it's interesting.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm taking a felting class in November.
That uses some of the same materials.
Is it one of those wonderful ones up at the North Shore?
No, it's at the art gallery here in town, and we're gonna make pumpkins.
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, we had make and takes in our booth, and we had several embroiderers and beaders, or braiders, because Maggie does kumihimo, and they had never beaded with a needle before. So they took some of our classes and really enjoyed it. So learning to do a new craft is always, a fun distraction from all the other crafts,
And
But I
more
find
than
it-
likely, you'd be able to incorporate it into something that you bead.
Generally, like the quilters can bead on their quilts, and the embroiderers, oh my gosh, the bead embroidery now you can do, it's just like braiders, oh my gosh, then you can sew and add embellishments on top, and it's endless what your imagination can come up with. I mean, how many different things you've got in this pattern? You've got stone, you've got cup chain,
What'd you
you've
say?
got charms, you've got like 5 different things.
Oh, I want to, well, okay, thank you.
And so I think that's so cool that you're mixing it all together and create great texture here.
That's one of the things I like about bead embroidery is that you can do so many things with it.
And you don't have to just follow a pattern. It's whatever happens.
Yeah. And you go, oh, that looks cool.
So I'm
People
wearing
ask
one
me-
of my bead embroidered pieces too.
Oh, that's pretty.
Thank you.
People ask me all the time, well, do you like write down a pattern before you start? And I'm like, no. I just glue a focal down and go. I have been working on trying to do pendants though, more than like big collars and things. Because not everybody likes the big collars.
Well, that's why I've been doing a lot of earrings and then hanging the fringe or the charms off of it and just people
Yeah,
always wear earrings.
I've seen some of those, Rochelle. Those are pretty.
Yeah, they're so much fun. And usually, I only make one because it's the stone that I have or whatever. So the fact that I'm making a whole set here because I had all these cabochons that Alexandra Sidorenko made, and I was inspired by the solar eclipse this morning. They're all orange and yellow. And so I'm doing the same thing that Lisa's doing. I'm just doing it in orange and yellow and making 2 smaller ones and 1 bigger one for earrings and a pendant.
Okay, so I've gotten all the way around.
Uh.
And I want to show you how that pops up here. Once I get my needle through here. So can you see how every other one is popped up?
Oh,
And so you just peyote through the ones that are standing up a little bit. Makes life much easier.
clever.
So are any of you left-handers? No left-handers? I'm actually left-handed, but I sew with my right hand. And I think it's because my mom was right-handed and she's the one that taught me to sew. But I've noticed that sometimes I sew in the opposite direction than other people do. Like I'm going counterclockwise right now. So I don't know what everybody else is doing.
I've noticed that a lot of left-handers are much more ambidextrous than those of us who are just right-handed.
Yeah, that would be me.
But I usually always sew counterclockwise and I sew away from me, just like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. Right-handed here.
I don't particularly like the idea of sticking the needle towards me.
Oh,
But I know some people do. It's I don't know. My mom taught me to embroider at a young age, just regular embroidery. And then of course I took the Girl Scout badge too. Got an embroidery badge.
yay, me too. Who
That's
else
almost
here
all.
was a Girl Scout?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yep. Yep.
I was a brownie. I never made it to Girl Scouts. But
I
my
was
mom was
only
a
a
Girl
brownie
Scout.
for a couple of months and then I was a Girl Scout. Grandma's who taught me to do that stuff. My mom was not crafty, but grandma was.
My mom was a seamstress. She did sewing for other people. Actually, my mother-in-law, I don't remember it. My husband does. My mother-in-law used to bring things to my mom to work on. But my husband remembers coming to the house with his mother. And he says he remembers me. I don't remember that, but my mom was, she grew up in the Depression, and she used to see like dresses that she liked in the window at stores, and she would like commit it to memory what it looked like, and then she would go home and cut a pattern out of newspapers and make the dress for herself.
That's talent.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
yeah. She was really good.
I bet given a little training, she could have been a designer.
Yeah, I think she could have too. Given a different time in the world.
Some people see things in their brains. You know, I worked for a woman taking care of her baby. At the end of my career, I discovered childcare and fell in love with taking care of babies. And she could sew, and she told me she just sees it in her brain. She doesn't need a pattern. She just sees it and does it. I don't know if anybody else has that ability. I sure don't.
I sort of do. I remember back in school, they gave us these tests, you know, and one of the ones was, it would be a picture and something was folded and what did it look like and stuff. And I did really well on that. And the counselor calls me and, well, you're not supposed to be able to do that. That's a boy thing. And I was talking to Marsha Weistine. She said she scored really well on that test too. And she's a marvelous designer.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted to know why. And I'm going, I don't know. It was just easy.
Who else is all the way around?
I am.
I
am.
I'm good. I'm half. A little
Yeah,
more
I'm
than
on my
half.
second layer.
I just stitched the last one on my second layer.
Me too.
On your second layer? Oh my gosh. I'm pulling
Speedy.
Well, I think your cabochon is bigger around than mine, Rochelle.
probably. I don't do anything small these days.
I jumped way ahead last night, so I'm there.
Yeah, I cheated. I actually started this morning, so I'm on row 3.
I'm
Yeah.
scared to cut around the cabochon.
I went and got COVID and shingle boosters and went grocery shopping this morning. And then I came home and I went, oh, wait, I need to go to the garage and find my stuff. It's time.
Well, that's why I sent out the reminder like half hour, 45 minutes beforehand, trying to get people.
Well, I went to water aerobics this morning and then today was turn in your hazardous waste day at our county, and I had 15-gallon cans from when we painted our house 22 years ago. So that was my morning.
Very productive, all of you. I finished my binge watching of The Gilded Age on HBO, and so getting ready for the second season here.
That's productive. Rochelle, are you kidding? That's called primetime relaxing.
I know. Well, I did
And
six.
it's input for beading stuff.
Exactly. So I did 6 episodes yesterday and 2 this morning. Well, beating.
Started watching Frasier. They remade it. And it's on Paramount Plus, and it's the new Frasier show, but it's just pretty close to the old one, and I loved it. So
They had a bad review in the paper this morning. Oh,
Oh,
no, in the New York Times this morning.
oh, he's a critic.
Yeah.
I never
He
pay
got a bad
attention to
review?
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the New York Times this morning.
oh
I'm just impressed that you've already read the New York Times this morning.
yeah.
Well, when you get it online, you can read it pretty fast because you can be selective about what you read.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Okay, I'm going blind looking at these little beads. Oh my
I
God.
know they are very tiny, aren't they? We did we had a fall festival here in town last week, and so our bead society did a beading demonstration at the art gallery, trying to get some more members in. And several people walked by and they're like, oh, we could never do this with these tiny little beads. That looks very tedious. I'm like, actually, it's very relaxing.
We
Actually,
got
what you
that
have to do is
when we
start with bigger
demonstrated
beads.
at the state fair too. Oh, I could never do that.
One bead at a time. One bead at a time.
Right. That's why we're taking donations for size 6O beads and 8O beads and like medium-sized beads for the bead bazaar, for our stretchy table, the daisy chain table, so that people won't complain. They'll just go, oh, okay, and they'll pick it up with their big eye needle. So if anybody's got big eye needle.
It's always
just
easier to
gotta-
start with big and then work down.
Exactly. So that's why we're teaching with the bigger beads. If you're doing the daisy chain, you want to teach the daisy chain at size 6O and 8O beads.
But wait, I just got a whole bunch of 11s donated.
Well, we can do the 11s too. So if you're doing the beading around the cabochon, maybe then we'll use that for that. Or what about as spacer beads for stretch bracelets?
Oh, I don't know. I think they're perfect for daisy chains, but
Well,
you have
I
a
think
point
we can-
about people not wanting to use those little teeny tiny beads.
Well, we should have them there for the brave at heart.
I'll bring them. No problem. No problem.
Sure, I can find 6O beads. Oh my gosh.
I have 6O beads.
I even have some stone that
Well, that's where for the what do you call it? Arita's crochet bracelet and the stretchy bracelets, stone would be great to use to string on as an accent bead.
I don't
Or if
know
you're
what-
making earrings, I mean, throw a crystal on top of a stone and you're done.
what I did with the ones I just made.
Here, I'll
Okay.
show you a picture of Rita's.
I was just looking for the ones that
I
I
have
just
the
made.
picture you showed me. Where is it? No. Stop share. Let me open it first. Where's the picture?
In the other
Here
room.
we
I'm gonna
go.
go look because I might have another one. Ah,
There we go. Here's the picture. Here's what Rita is teaching. It's
Oh, fun.
a chain stitch bead crochet.
That's
So
cute.
correct. So don't you think anything 3mm to 8mm would look cool in there?
oh yeah.
So And so if you have Eslon, this is the medium Eslon that she's been using here. So if anybody wants to donate any beads to go, variety, stone, seed, glass, anything, you know, there you go. That's what it is. And that is on Sunday from 10 until noon. And on Saturday from what, 2 to 4? I've got it written down. We'll have the official list out there.
Yeah, we need to get something up on the website.
Correct. I just wanted to, Marlene and I have been correlating because she's getting more and more people. And so like a basic jewelry making on Saturday morning at the other table, you know, making earrings, making a bracelet, putting a crimp, doing, you know, I mean, don't you think people would like just to learn a couple basics?
Yes, definitely.
So I think that would be great to start it off with. And since Marlene came up with a great idea, like I said, we were just collecting the donations and we'll have all the tables set up and we'll have the calendar there posted everywhere. So this is free for everyone that comes to the Twin City Bead Bazaar at the Eisenhower Community Center. Shameless plug for the Upper Midwest Bead Society. Sorry.
Well, I've switched over to my bee beads now. And I'm just finishing up the bezel on the cab.
And that's the third row that you switch down to the bead,
No, I switched over, let's see. The fourth row.
the fourth row. But
And-
you're
and I-
depending on your cabochon height.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my cabs are kind of short, so I think I'm shifting down now.
Yeah, mine was pretty tall.
But I like that it's variable. You just go with what you got.
Yeah.
And who doesn't have all different size beads? I mean, come on.
I know, I'm thinking I really want to make this in another color now because I have the Tila beads in lots of colors, so I'm excited to see what it would look like.
Well, I've got little cabochons and ginkgos that I'm gonna use.
Oh, that'd be cute too.
And then I have diamonds, but the whole go the other direction. So I'm, you know.
See, that's the great thing about this. You can just do your own thing. I love it. I do. I love it.
How
I'm
And
using a,
you use
Oh.
up what you have, you know?
I'm using a druzy as my focal.
Ooh, pretty.
It's neat. It's pretty neat. But I may have gone too blingy with everything else because I guess you can overdo bling.
since when? I don't know. I think that bling is here to stay and
Only people who aren't beaters think you can overdo bling.
see.
I was reading an article this morning about how fashion in the last 20 years hasn't really changed. Like you can look at somebody from the early 2000s and not really know it's a picture from the early 2000s or from today, other than like the size of their phone or
Their
the size of their
hairstyle.
yeah, the hairstyles haven't really changed. Whereas like in this, like the 50s, you could look at a picture and know it's the 50s. The 60s
Correct.
definitely know it's the 60s. The 70s, you know, and it's true. You can't really, the fashions there hasn't been that much change happening.
Well, I'm still wearing the same clothes I've had for the last 30 years, and nobody keeps telling me I'm out of date. So
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? I just got bigger, so I had to get new ones. My mom called it the middle-aged spread.
Sadly, that's what happens when you get older.
Yeah.
Apparently, yes, yes.
I saw this funny thing this morning on Facebook that says, I don't mean to brag, but I can still wear the same earrings I had in college.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. We spread outward and downward.
I work at the art shop in the Midtown Global Market, and one of the artists, and it's all Minnesota artists, and we have a really lovely selection of cards. And one of the artists brought in some cards while I was working last time, and she has a picture of, there's like two women kind of like stick figures on it, you know, that she's cut out, and one has her chest is a heart. You know, that's the right side up. And then the other one has an upside down heart. And the label is young boobs, old boobs. And then she says at the bottom, there's little initials, WTF. Cracked me up.
Oops.
All right, I'm gonna start with my cup chain now. It doesn't really matter where you begin. It's just, you know, like the top or the bottom, whichever you decide is your top or your bottom. It doesn't really matter. But I usually like to put it at the bottom and start there. Yeah, my husband's back.
Yeah, until Zoom came along, people were all happy with their open concepts. Now I think they really learned to appreciate what a small room and a closed door is, you know, for. Zooming in the library.
Well, I worked from home during COVID, and so he got used to, you know, me being in my office from 8 to 5 every day, except for lunchtime. And so he would stay pretty quiet. But, you know, now that I've been at home for the last year, retired, he's not very quiet anymore.
Yeah, you all probably heard my husband come through here a little bit ago. I couldn't hit the mute button fast enough. I think
Can
he's
you
out
please-
picking
I can't-
apples now.
Ooh, what kind of apple trees do that?
Well, we have, our best apple tree is called a Wolf River apple, because we live in the Wolf River area, and they're specific to this area because of the type of soil that's here. And they are really good apples. They're just, in this year, they're not quite as hard, but they're not super sweet. So they're a little bit sweet, a little bit tart, and they're just nice and juicy. They're really good.
Hmm.
We don't have a dehydrator yet. I want a dehydrator so I can make apple slices.
Can you, Lisa,
Yes.
can you please move? I can't see what you're doing. I've never used cup chain before.
Oh, okay.
So
So-
I'm not sure how you're getting, every time I try to stitch it, it's flipping around. Any trick to how you're getting it to stay flat?
I use my thumb to hold it flat, my left hand to hold it flat, and then I just go between it, each one, and then stitch down.
So it's just couching in between.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can, if you want to, you can glue it. I don't like to glue it just because I feel like I'm not a good gluer. And I feel like I leave a mess. So some people glue it. I don't.
Okay, thank you.
But then I would still stitch it even if I glued it, just to make sure it held. I mean, I wouldn't have to stitch every one, but I would still stitch like every third or fourth one.
We have another self-proclaimed bad gluer in the group today.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah, I'm not fond of glue either.
Well, I am almost there, within 6 beads, I think. On my first round.
I'm going, what?
On my first round.
You were talking about apples, Rita. There was
Yeah.
a grower, apple grower from the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum,
Yep.
where they developed the Honeycrisp and all of the great apples. And
Mhm.
there's a brand new apple called the Hugo that they've just released. Of course, growers are just starting to plant the trees, so it'll be 3 or 4 years before it really comes on the market. But apparently, it was a very tasty new apple.
Hmm.
Is it supposed to be more sweet or tart, or what's
Um,
the variation of why is this one better than the 8 varieties we've already developed?
Sweet and really juicy. So it's based on the Honeycrisp, and I can't remember the other apple they said that they had blended it with. But sweet, crisp, juicy.
I got apples from Dora's from the bead retreat and mixed them with the wild plums from the neighbor across the street and made a great sauce with them that I've been
Oh,
using in
nice.
everything. So I don't know what kind Dora's had, but those were good.
They're real good cooking apples.
Yep, that's what I did with them.
They weren't real tasty just to eat one, but they were really good cooking ones.
They mixed well with the wild plums.
I bet. Wow.
When we moved to Wisconsin, we moved into a house where the guy before us made wine. So we have property that's full of grapes. We have apples, we have plums, we have wild cherries, and it's just crazy how much fruit there is around here.
Have you ever made apple butter?
Yes, apple butter. I like
Love
apple
apple
butter and peach apple butter and
Ooh.
yep, very good stuff.
What's the trick to making it like different than
There's no-
applesauce?
Nope. All you do is you take your fruit, you peel it, you put it in a crock pot and you cook it down. You don't add anything, no
Okay,
water, no
That's what I
sauce,
did,
no nothing.
but I only got
And
applesauce. I didn't get apple butter. I didn't cook it down
nope,
long enough.
not long enough. That's right. You, well, you cook it until it's, maybe what you have to do is take one of those little handheld blenders and blend it every once in a while. I think that's what I remember my husband doing,
Oh,
because he's the one
okay.
that made it. So that's how you get it to be butter. And then you can add cinnamon or nutmeg or whatever
Yeah, I
you
did that.
want, if you want to season it with anything.
I just used my handheld potato masher. That was my problem. So I need an immersion blender. There you go. Okay.
Yep, that's what he used, was an immersion blender. So yeah, pretty good.
I did not inherit one of those in my mother's downsizing.
Yeah, but they're not very expensive anymore, so I think to get one, you might spend 20-30 bucks, maybe.
Oh, wait a minute. I got a handheld mixer though from the 70s, one of those portable ones. I bet that would work.
I think that would work as well. You just be careful you don't scrape the sides of your crock pot,
Yeah, there you go. I'm still unpacking everything, we're still in the middle of the move, so it's still boxes. And I'm figuring out where all these crazy kitchen utensils are supposed to go.
So I'm to the end of my cup chain, and I've been trying to space it fairly evenly as I'm going, but it's it slides around a little bit, so you can kind of move it around. And that's what I'm having to do here, because 2 kind of spaces out too far. So I want to fit 3 in there. But to do that, I'm going to have to space them back out again and make them all a little bit closer all the way around.
What's the
But-
trick to ending it so that you don't notice there's an end and a beginning?
There's no real trick. You just don't cut it until you've stitched it, because you don't want to cut it too short.
That makes sense.
It still looks a little, I'm not liking the way that's looking. It's still looking a little too tight there at the end. So maybe I will just do 2 and space them all back out again. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do.
It seems pretty forgiving.
Yeah, it is. It is. The thing I like about cup chain is it comes in all these different colors, and even the metal you can get in different colors. Like I made a piece this past summer. The metal was purple and the stone was turquoise. So you can get it in all these different colors, and it stitches on so quick that, I mean, it saves a lot of time. It really does. And it looks pretty if you want to add a little bit of bling.
Where do you source your cup chain from?
I got a lot of it from Jody Young. She's based out of Washington. I think her business name is Creative Components. But you can also get it from, oh shoot, what's that place called? It's in China, not Temu, but it's,
The other one.
yeah, I can't think of the name of it right now. It starts with an S, I want to say. But I haven't bought any in a while because I bought a lot of it, and so I don't need any for quite a while.
You're not talking Alibaba, are you?
I might, yeah, maybe. Yeah,
No, but
I
there's
think,
another one too.
I think
Yeah,
it is
Shine.
Alibaba.
It's Sheen or Shine or something.
No, it's not that one. I think it's Alibaba.
AliExpress.
Yeah, that's it. It has
What
an
was-
S in it, it's just at the end.
What was that? What was that?
AliExpress.
AliExpress, got it. Thank you.
You can get French wire from there too, in a lot of different colors.
I haven't made friends with French wire yet completely.
I'm not very good friends with it yet either, but I keep thinking I will be.
Well,
Yeah, but-
Hannah's classes are really I've been learning. So started in the sunflower, and then when she did the tambour embroidery, we also had French wire in there.
Yeah.
And so it just takes practice. So each time, and she had some great tips that we learned at the retreat and everything. So at every class I take, I learn more and more.
I do like ball chain though.
Yeah, that would seem to work just like the cup chain, right?
Yeah, now that I will glue down. I will glue the ball chain, but cup chain I don't like to.
What do you do with ball chain embroidery?
Yeah, you can.
You can do
yeah,
it the same as you're doing the cup chain.
Ah, thank you. I never used that.
Yeah, it comes in all kinds of pretty colors too. Okay, so I'm ready to start with the Tilas. Okay.
And do you tie off on the back between each?
I don't, I just, if it's a bigger piece, I'll usually like thread through the back
Okay.
to get to where I need to be. But I'm kind of already there since that's where I
And
began the cup chain. With the Tilas, you want to leave like a 5 stone, and it, Becky, I know you're using a different size cup chain, so you'll have to kind of wing that,
it
but
out.
on this size cup chain, it's about 5 stones apart at the top where you want to start your Tilas, or the bottom, whichever it is, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to go just to the edge of that, the one on the left there, to start those. And go through just the bottom half. I have to look and see. And I need my beads as well. So I'll pick up a Tila and a D, and then I'm going to back stitch that to hold it in place. And then repeat that until I have 5 Tilas. How are we doing with the cup chain? The lady who asked about, how do you do this? Is it still flipping around?
Not got it, thanks. Just getting it to the end.
Okay, good.
Me too.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm not liking how far in that's coming on mine. So I'm gonna do the frog stitch, rip those out and start it over one crystal because I think it's, or a half a crystal because it's too far over here. And it's not gonna leave me room to put the size 8 beads, as many of them in between there as I'd like. And again, depending on the size of your cab, you may have to adjust that.
Oh, no,
What?
there's a crystal missing.
Uh-oh.
I
That
think I've
doesn't
got
sound
enough.
good.
I think I've got enough, but I was like, oh, I didn't see this before. Okay. Back up.
No, that doesn't bode well, does it? I had that happen on a bracelet I was working on a couple of weeks ago. And luckily it was right at the end. So I just cut the end of it off and stitched down like 3 new links. But if it's in the middle, there's not a whole lot you can do.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's 9 in, and I just didn't see it before. Oh, I'll work around it. But in the meantime, I have to take out everything I've done so far. Unless I cut it and I'll take it apart to see first.
Hey, Lisa, can you
Yes.
center yourself in the middle and zoom up a little bit? We have a couple people who are just having an issue seeing now what you're doing, where you're doing it.
Okay. Is that better?
It looks good to me, so I'm not sure whoever else. So if it's not right, please. So the holes are going side to side or from the cabochon out?
Yeah, they are side to side. I never can tell which way to put this. There we go. It's not focusing there. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, I like where this one's laying much better now. And I only moved it up about a half of a crystal.
Okay, you said a Tila and an 11, right?
No, a Tila and a size 8.
An 8, okay.
And then once you get the 5 Tilas on, then you're going to put seven to 8 size 8s on, enough to get you around to the other side of, like around to here, where my needle is, to the other side of the crystals, so that you're having the same number of crystals on both ends, that'll be covered by 8s instead of Tilas. And then you'll start with, so you'll have to put 7 or 8, depending again on the size of your cab, size 8s, and then you'll start again and repeat the Tilas on the other side. I'm going to need 7. Whoops. I hit my phone. Okay, so I've got the tilas on the other side. Now I'm just gonna fill in the top with the size 8s and come across to the other side and meet the tila. Then I'm going to stitch all the way through again around that row, just to reinforce. And then I'll probably have to add new thread, I think. What kind of beading thread does everyone like to use?
Fire line.
Fire line.
Definitely Fireline.
1G.
Yeah, Fireline, since Nanofill's gone.
I know, I still have a little bit of nanofill left and I'm using it sparingly.
The
Yeah.
S1 Fire is actually very comparable to the nanofill.
Oh.
It's more round like the nanofill than flat like the Fireline was. And so but they basically say they have the patent, stole the patent, whatever, you know. And it's the same thing. So, you know, we've been testing it at Bobby Beads and since we've been selling it, and I really think it's closer to nanofill than Fireline. So you should
Is that the
try it out.
Scylla? What are they, Scylla?
Eslon Fire.
Eslon, yeah, I was given some, I gotta try it.
You really should. I think you're gonna love it.
Thank
It
you.
only comes in white and the black, but you know, your Sharpie can create it any color you want it.
Yep,
All right, so for this next row around, in between the tilas, you're gonna pick up one A bead, which is what we did our bezel with, one size 8, and another A bead, and just go in between the tilas. Oh, I should probably backstitch that.
What thread are you using, Lisa?
I have Fireline right now. It's the black satin, I think. Yeah. But that's hard to get too.
Correct. They've discontinued the Fireline and the nano fill.
I like 1G, but I found out that you have to stretch it first. Now that I know that.
I'm sorry. We keep trying to tell people.
Yeah, now that I know that, it's okay. So I do
Have
like
used-
it. I like that it comes in different colors.
I've used it recently on a project, and I'm so used to using Fireline, and then every time I turned around, that 1G was tangled. So I learned that, okay, I'm used to the Fireline, tangles come out pretty easy. 1G, no, once it's in there, forget it, it's not coming out easy.
If you
So
wax,
I
it
figured
helps.
out shorter lengths is the only way to go, and wax, wax, wax.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
longer length, all you're gonna do is trash your thread anyway, and
Mm.
then use a compromised thread. So
Mm.
one arm length from your shoulder out is really how long a thread can last without getting compromised. In my opinion.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good opinion. With my Fireline, I can do 2 arm lengths
Yes.
and be just fine, but not with that 1G was a whole different
So if you
ballgame.
bead off your bobbin, then you got 3 feet in one direction and 3 feet in the other direction,
Mhm.
and usually you're good to go. So that's what I do.
Well, I'm always gonna love my Fireline.
Well, try Eslon when you can't, the Eslon Fire, when you can't get the Fireline. It's really, really close.
I just got like a whole bunch of 8-pound Fireline on sale. I think they might have been selling it out, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna be good to go for a little while here. But I also have a bunch of like old Nymo and some 1G and some other stuff. I don't even know what it is. So I'll use that when I need to do fringe. They say it's better for fringe. So
Yeah,
But-
you want something with a little bit of stretch when you're doing
Mhm.
fringe. The Fireline, usually your fringes stick all over the place versus.
Yeah, the
me.
Fireline is too stiff for fringe.
mhm.
That's why you need it all, because you never know what you're gonna bead, right?
That's right. Good to have a good amount of items in your war chest, right? So that you can go, oh, I have that. Let me go to the thread cabinet.
Yep.
So Lisa, I'm on step 5 where we're adding the Tilas and the 8Os.
Uh-huh.
So when do you stitch into the backing? You do add like a Tila and an 8O, stitch into the backing and come around again, or?
Yeah, I just backstitched through the Tila and the 8O
Okay,
and then stitch through, yeah. And then I'm at the point where I'm ready to add 8s along the bottom. And so you just want to fill in again with 8s all the way through to where the Tilas begin again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get anywhere close to that today.
No judgment in beading.
Nope.
Well, I didn't get a head start. That's
Well, you
where
have
I
to-
fell down. Last night I should have been at it.
You have to remember, this is like the 5th or 6th time I've made this too, so. Somebody said something about adding things to your war chest. My daughter told me one time, Because my daughter doesn't do any of this. She doesn't have time. I get it. She's a single mom and she's a marketing executive for a big firm. And so she has no time to do any kind of hobbies or anything. And she told me one time, she's like, you realize that when you're gone, I'm going to throw all of these beads away.
No,
Oh,
tell her
no.
to donate.
No,
them.
no,
I
no,
know.
no,
I
no.
said, don't you dare. I said, that's thousands and thousands of dollars. I said, don't you
You
dare.
give her a
throw it away."
list of places she can donate or people she can call to help her get the maximum amount of money she can out of those beads when
I
you're
know. I couldn't
gone.
believe she said that. I was like, oh, no, no, no. You will definitely not do that.
She clearly doesn't realize the investment that you have.
No, she doesn't. She has no idea.
Yeah, bead liquidation has to be a certain person in your estate planning.
Actually, in my living trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know why she's planning for me to be gone just yet.
Hopefully it was just a casual observation.
Yeah, I think.
Well, good thing she informed you, right?
She was so funny right after we moved back here, because we moved back here in December. And when I say back here, is to our hometown. And she lives about 20 miles away. I was walking the dog and there was a real uneven place in the sidewalk and I tripped and fell. And I called her and I said, or I texted her and I said, I just tripped and fell. And she was like, oh no, here we go. This is it. She was like, you're in your elderly stage now. I was like, oh no.
Well,
don't."
my son is 51 and he's sure that he's old, so he thinks I'm really decrepit.
Oh, jeez.
But
Oh,
my other son, who's 50, says, I'm amazed, Ma, you keep up with me.
I have a nephew that's 54 and he's in much worse shape than I am, but he's a veteran, so we'll give him that.
Lisa, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I put 4 of the Tilas on and I would kind of have to start over to get a 5th one in. Does this look
Yeah,
like that's enough or should I try to do the 5?
Let me, who's asking that so I can.
Jan. And in the aqua.
Hold on, let
Okay,
me add
Pretty.
spotlight. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I would just leave the 4 then.
Yeah,
maybe
'cause
you could
I
add
start
one on the-
over, but it just seems like it would take up more space. I'm not sure. I mean, it's no big deal to back up.
No, I mean, are you at, which end are you at, I guess, from the way you're holding it? Are
Use the
you,
bottom.
okay. Yeah, I don't think I'd add another one. I think I'd just leave it the way it is.
Yeah, I'm thinking with the size of the cabochon that.
Yeah, I think I'd just leave it with the 4. And then just make sure that you count across so that it's even. It looks like maybe 1, 2, 5 crystals or 4.5 crystals across before you start your next Tila.
Yeah, get it even on the other side. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
thank you.
Dan, that's really beautiful.
Yeah, this is really pretty.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Oh, I have 2 Tilas left over.
So when ordering the cup chain, what size is this in the kit?
I think it's a 3 millimeter,
3 millimeter, okay.
but you could use really any size. So when I added my 8s along the bottom, I had to put one more than I really wanted to. So it's kind of poking out a little. So I'm gonna go back around after I get around all the way around. I'm gonna go back down there and couch those so that they lay a little bit. I'm gonna go through, reinforce them, and then I'm gonna couch these down so that they just lay a little bit flatter. But I couldn't leave one. It was gonna be too big the space. But now that I put one in there, it's just poking them out just a little bit. So I'm gonna couch them down.
You're gonna make them behave.
Yes. Make them happy is what Heidi says. Heidi Kumley says, I'm gonna make them happy beads.
Hey, whoever's got the TV or the radio on needs to mute.
So here's another thing that's comes up occasionally is I'm on the second row of around my tilas, and the 3 beads will not fit. So I'm just gonna either do 2 beads. No one's gonna notice because who's gonna be that close to your necklace? Or if they are, they shouldn't be, right?
Get away.
So I'm only gonna put 2 in there because the 3 just won't fit right. My husband always says that gives it character and you know it's handmade that way.
True.
Little flaws like that.
They're not the flaws, they're design choices.
Yeah, there you go.
Gives it personality.
Called handmade for a reason, right? Because we're good at design choices. Or at least I am. It's a good way to put it, Rochelle.
And I'm just going to put 8s then around to the other side, and this part is done. So as far as like a whatever kind of chain you want to do or whatever, that's up to you. I had one of the people that took the class in January, she did a cubic right angle weave chain and did it that way. I was just gonna put like a leather chain on mine. But that's up to you, however you want to do it. I think I was in Minneapolis about this time last year. For work. Or no, yeah. No, it was in the spring. It was in the spring because I remember it snowed and I didn't even have a coat. I didn't even have a coat with me. And it was freezing.
You never know in Minnesota. Was it last week we went from 91 to 50?
Yeah, we did the same thing, actually.
It actually hit 98 on October 1st. It was a record here. That's why we got heat exhaustion at the Renaissance Fair. On October 1st. It's nutty. But it's a perfect beating day today. It's just 50s and the sun came out and
Rained.
the rain was so nice yesterday. Oh my gosh. Happy gardens.
Mm-hmm.
My rain gauge says almost 4 inches.
Wow.
Mhm.
I needed that.
How did you do at the Renaissance?
Pardon?
How did you do at the Renaissance? Did you sell a lot of stuff?
Well, the woman I work for, it was such a great year for her, and I really like making all the little bezels and all the little bales and things. It's nice, and I was learning my Celtic knots and adding Celtic knots to things. So people really liked those. And so
What
yeah,
does she
we
say- what exactly does she sell?
well, you guys, if you met the July meeting, that's her, Pam Smith. It's
okay.
Phoenix Fire. So it's copper colored with a torch.
Oh, that's
So
right.
they're the antique die cuts, and she hammers and pounds them and does neat things to make them more animated, and then colors them with the fire, makes all the pretty colors. So I just add the little bales of little beaded bales and little things, and then make them on slide knots and earring wires. So I'm just the little, bale fairy kind of thing. But the customers were so nice. Everybody was in a great mood this year, and the weather was perfect, except for it was a little hot. So we
Well, and
had
you were in a heavy costume, weren't you?
correct. I switched. Hannah helped me out with the costume so I could switch out of my leather corsets into cotton corsets. So that I wasn't dying so much of heat. But I never got to wear the velvet costumes because it was never cold enough.
Okay, I'm ready to trim.
Oh my God, that looks so pretty.
Here we go.
Oh, wow.
And then I will glue that to my ultra suede, and then I'm not going to trim it close. I like to glue the ultra suede first and then trim it close so that they're trimmed at the same place and you don't have to trim it twice.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Yeah,
How
it makes
close do you trim it?
so I'll just like this, like that, and then glue the ultra suede on. And then I'll trim it close after the ultra suede's
Oh,
dry.
so you go through both, you cut through both the
Both
ultra
layers.
and the
uh-huh.
backing. Okay, okay.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to trim it twice up close and worry about cutting threads or anything like that.
You just go up next to like the Tila's and trim it right that close, or do you leave a little bit of an edge?
I trim it pretty close. I mean, you shouldn't run into any threads. I mean, it's hard to see with this black, but you really
Yeah.
shouldn't run into any threads because they're inside the Tila's.
Right.
And with the 8s, they're not real close either. So I think you'll be okay.
All right, here goes. Not scared. Ah. It's trimmed. Ah.
The worst part's waiting for the glue to dry. I think the worst part of finishing up a project is picking up all the beads. And sorting them all out again.
How many people actually do that? Or are you just like me who then scoop everything from the tray into a bag and call it a bead mix?
Or each time you pick up new beads, you could put away the old ones. What I do.
When I was at Bead Fest in Pennsylvania, I actually bought one of those bead trays that had the little indentations in it. Did you see those, Rochelle? That so
Mhm,
that
they bought me one as a gift last year and I've been using it all year long. I love it.
yeah, I do too.
And it even has magnets on the bottom so that my needle stays where it goes. And if I need to itemize the little thing, so A, B, C, D, E, I've got the little magnets that will go by and identify. So it sticks right next to the beads on the tray. It's pretty cool.
How's everybody doing? Can you show me what you've got? Oh, that looks pretty, Marlene.
Thank you.
Wait, let me switch glasses
I
so I
like
can
it.
see better. Oh,
Wow.
Becky, I like
Oh,
those
Marlene, you
colors.
did a great job.
You
I
guys,
like it.
you guys are really far.
Well, I did this last night.
That's true.
That's cheating. I like
I
it though.
just don't, I've never done that edge stitching yet, so that's what I'm waiting to find out how to do.
So I didn't have Tila's, so I used cabochons. And I of course didn't center it, so I only put my cabochons on the bottom instead of on both sides because I glued mine too close to the edge. So there you go. But it's
gonna
a
be
solar
cool.
eclipse inspiration. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
Let's see it. Spotlight you.
okay, hold on. Let me add a spotlight. There you go. All right.
Oh, fun.
yeah,
So
cute.
I did it on the diagonal and then yeah, did cabochons. So now I'm filling in with 11s and triangles in between
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I like
instead of
it.
8s because
it.
there you go.
I love those cabochons. Those are flat on one side and they're domed on the other. They're 6mm and they're 2-hole made by Starman. So they
Yeah.
work the same as the Tila's.
They really
you know.
do. And so you can honestly interchange any of those 2-hole shapes if the hole goes in the directions you want it to go, you
Mhm.
know, and so I think it's just so much fun that, you know, I mean, yeah, because anything will frame the cab and then it looks different. So you could make 10 of the same pattern with just different beads and they all look different.
Absolutely.
So much fun. This has just been groovy.
Yeah, great kit and a great pattern.
Thank you.
So I do have one question, because you said that you tend to make things without a plan and without, you know, thinking about it. But then how do you go back and make the pattern?
Well, I make, this is the one that's lying here is the first one that I made. And then I go back and I make the second one. And I look at the first one that I made. And when I'm making the second one, that's when I take the photos and
Okay,
write the directions up.
okay.
Oh, I didn't switch my glasses back. No wonder I can't see. All right, so I'm ready to start edging.
Oop, you're out of the camera. Whoop, there. Thank you.
I tend to hold it close to me because usually when I bead, I'm sitting in a recliner.
Pick up 2.
So this is just a basic brick stitch edging for the first time around. Oops, I'm stuck on my scissors. There we go.
You start on the back, pick up 2 beads, and then stitch up through both layers.
Yes. So I just I found that I do this a little bit backwards. Some people go back to front, or I mean back front to back. I go back to front. So a lot of people do it the other way. But the first one you pick up 2 beads, but you only stitch back up through the second bead. Then the second one then the rest of the way around you only pick up 1 bead.
So you go through both layers and then go back through the second bead.
Yes, go through both layers. And then you're just going to go through the bead like that and pull it tight. And that's going to bring your edges together so you can't see the difference.
So then you pick up 1 more bead and go up through both layers to the top.
Yeah, you pick up your bead, I go from back to front and go through both layers like that. And then up through the bead. And that makes your beads sit, some people call it the sunshine stitch because the beads sit upright.
Okay.
And you want to, if your beads start to buckle, your beads are too close together. If there's space between, they're too far apart. So you want to put your needle about a bead's width apart.
And what size are you using there?
These are 11s.
Okay.
You could use 15s if you wanted to. They'd make a little more delicate look. The spacing would be different on the wavy edge. Because they would be closer together if you did it the way the instructions are written.
So the beads will basically sit on the crack between the two layers like that. Whoop, where'd it go?
Yeah, they sit right on top of where the ultra suede and the bead backing
Okay.
come together.
Cool.
Before we leave today, I'll type my email address in the chat too. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out, or you can always find me on Facebook too.
Hannah put them all in the chat already.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Hannah.
And so the Etsy shop and your Facebook page, and so yeah, she's so good at that.
I knew we had her around for a reason.
You know, she just had to jet though. She's got so much going on, and so she just left us. But says thank you so much. We have some other people who just had to jet as well. Thank you, Lisa. Great class and design. You know, all kinds of wonderful. We'll also put in the art gallery that you messaged, Hancock County. That's all in there as well. So look in the chat and click, and so we really and the Indiana Bead Society link is all in there too. So you know, I really suggest joining more than one bead society, because there's just so much fun to be had. Why not? You know, if you've got time. That's the fun of it, right? There's so many like-minded people out there.
Well, I appreciate you all being so welcoming today. It's been a good time, and I appreciate you being so open to new things. I always try to teach at my bead society things I know that they've never done before. And I try to like go outside of their box a little bit. Before I joined, they were always doing bead weaving. They had never done bead embroidery. So now we do a lot of bead embroidery.
Well, you get to be creative with bead embroidery. That's the fun.
Yeah.
Well, and you get to use up all those extra little beads.
Yep.
I want to see what Becky's looks like. Becky, you used different beads, didn't you?
I did, I used what I had.
Can you show us the?
I have it up. If she wants to spotlight me, it'll get bigger.
You are spotlighted. Ooh, pretty.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
It's really pretty.
Wow.
And my cup chain was 4mm.
It looks pretty though. I like it.
Very nice.
And I realized when I went to put my backing on, I had grabbed tan instead of gray, so I had to go find backing again.
This would be pretty in like red and green too to make a Christmas ornament.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe without the feather, maybe with a star at the bottom or something.
Or a drop.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
added 4 2-hole daggers at the bottom of mine. Mine's a solar eclipse, so I added the daggers. But they look like the feather. That's what gave me the inspiration for the daggers.
Oops.
Oh. Slid my needle right through my finger.
Ouch.
Does the bead count around the outside have to also be an even number?
No,
No, okay.
it's just whatever fits. Okay, so I'm almost around to where I started, and I think I'm just gonna add one more bead here, because we've got that one that's kind of sticking out where we added two at the beginning, and that'll be where we end.
That's where I am too.
Okay, so that one you're gonna go through back to front again, like you did all the way around. And then
Through the-
come up
through-
through both the backing and the foundation, and then up through that first bead you added.
You go
And pull-
from the bottom to the top just through the fabric.
From the
And then-
back to the front, and then up through that first bead,
Okay,
and then down through the last bead that you added. And that'll bring them all together. And then I go back up through the first bead again and pull it tight. And then you can't tell where you started or where you ended.
okay.
Then I'm gonna just take my thread, weave it through to, oops, I got tangled up there somehow. I don't know what I did.
Hmm.
Here we go. I'm gonna weave it over to maybe the 2 beads away from where I started.
We're getting feedback
This
from
is,
someone's.
I'm
someone's-
sorry.
We're getting feedback from someone's radio or.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is pick up 1D and 1E and just do a stop stitch with that and stitch right back down.
You're off of the camera.
Sorry.
Easy
Stitch right
to
back
do.
down.
Hard to look at both, isn't it?
Yeah. So it'll look like that. And then you're going to weave over. And get my needle to go through there. Three beads. And this one, you're just gonna put an E bead in. So just the 11. And go right back down in there. So you're gonna repeat that all the way around. So come back. Go back over to the third bead. Pick up a D and an E. Go back down through the D and weave back through the bead you came out of. And you'll repeat that until you get down to where the D beads begin at the bottom. And then you're gonna pick up 20 size 11s and your feather. And then start again at the other side and repeat this on the other side where the tilas are.
Okay.
So I'm going to end with just the 11 here. And then I'm going to start with the actually I'm going to make this my top because I should have started with the 11 at the top. So my bad. But I should have started with just an 11 up here instead of the 8 and the 11. So this will be the top of my piece now. So now I will skip over. Let me think here. I got to think a minute. This isn't something I do a lot, so I have to think about it. So I'm gonna weave over. To the other side. So we're not going to pick up the 20 beads until the next step. I misspoke. But it's right in the directions. Don't believe me, believe the directions.
That's the important part.
Yeah.
Do you have someone test your patterns?
I have not up until this point, but I was thinking not too long ago that I need to. Now on this side, we'll start with an 11 again. And then weave through to the third bead and then do an 8 and an 11.
This is a really rich looking design.
It is.
Got so many things going for it.
Thank you.
Well, I'm pretty done for, so I'm gonna be out, but thank you so much for teaching such a beautiful class.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you joining.
Yeah, it was fun. Everyone have a good evening, rest of the weekend.
Thanks, Rita.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I was lopsided, so I backed up. My top and my bottom were way different.
Yeah, my top and my bottom are different, but I don't know if it matters.
So I just decided to back up and try again. And I got the 5 tilas in this time on each side. But that's part of the fun of bead embroidery, right? Ripping it out and it's starting again.
Okay, so I've got all the way around with that. Now, let's see if I can. Figure this out, since I'm gonna try to salvage this from the beginning, since I messed up. And still leave room for a bail. Yeah, I think I can just do it. Okay, so I'm gonna just come back up through where I added that first 8 and 11. And go through the 11. Like that. And I'm gonna pick up 3 11s and go through the 11 down here. 3 and 4. Yeah, it's 3. And then another 3 and go through the next 11. But I'm thinking I need 4. The original one was 3, but I bet you that cab was a little bit smaller. It's looking like I need 4. Yeah, I like that better.
So when you get down to the bottom, do you just stitch back and forth through and to get over to the other side where to start the edging again?
Yes. Yes. Like, you mean down here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just stitch back and up and down until you get over to the other side.
Okay.
And then make sure you start with just an 11 again. Because that's where we're going to have all of these beads to hang your feather on. Oh, I see.
Missed this.
Okay. So, see, I should have read my own directions. I only skipped 2 beads on this original one and not 3. So that's why that's why I'm having to add more beads. I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't do this very often. I bead embroider all the time. I don't do bead weaving.
It's a design choice.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, my husband's starting to yell at the TV.
Uh-oh, football?
Probably.
College football on Saturday and NFL on Sunday.
And on Monday and on Thursday.
Yeah, they've expanded just a little bit too much. And Sunday night always makes me cranky because the football games always go over the schedule. So any shows that you're recording on CBS after the football game are gonna be all screwed up. And those are usually the good shows.
Well, he used to watch him in our old house. He had a man cave that he watched all of his football and stuff in. And in this house, he doesn't have that. Or he just has, he just hasn't got it all set up the way he wants yet. And so it's the living room or the bedroom. So I've been putting up with all the football games. I don't mind watching it some, but you know, like from noon to midnight on Sunday is a little much.
Yeah, 2 or 3 games. Ooh. I don't know how they can sit still that long. Of course, we do it beating, so I guess we shouldn't complain.
So I didn't like the way that wavy was looking, so I'm gonna go back and redo that part to what the directions say, which is every 2 beads instead of every 3. Good thing it's a small piece.
One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay.
Oops, you went off a frame again. What are you, where? There you go.
I was just ripping out what I did because I didn't like it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's okay.
So how many people rip out when they don't like it versus just keep going on?
I rip.
I rip. I've learned if you don't like it, you're not gonna be happy with the end. And then sometimes that makes you not finish things.
Yeah, that's true. I have this funky little earring that I was working on. Oh, golly. He's a cute little thing. Let me see if I can show you. And he doesn't have anything on the bottom and he looked kind of odd. So I tried to add something and I still don't like it. So I don't know. Well, I'll figure something out. Here.
Let's see again.
Kinda cute. He's almost gnome looking.
Up a
Yeah,
little high. Oh, there he is.
oh, wait.
Oh, that's
here.
cute.
He's got to come around more. There's the front of him. So he's got like a little button thing right there. And the bottom, I've been trying different things at the bottom because the bottom just looked unfinished, but I'm just not happy with it. So I'm just gonna keep working on them until I like them.
Oh, I like that
And
attitude.
this is how far I've gotten.
Oh, that looks pretty.
Yeah. So I just glued the backing on because I backed up and did some work. But I do have some kind of uneven beads at the bottom, but c'est la vie.
My husband just stuck his head in. He said, he whispered, "When are you gonna be done?"
You're almost done now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did run a little overtime, but that's okay. People got nothing better to do on a Saturday.
No,
Probably, yeah.
I got nothing better to do today. I thought I'd be bored when I was retired, but I have been so busy in retirement.
I've been trying to schedule going to a new movie with my girlfriends because what's the movie that's coming out this weekend? The one about the Indians that were murdered.
Flower.
Yeah.
Oh, Killers of the Flower Moon, is that it?
Yep, it's something about Flower Moon.
Yeah, and we read it in my book club. So I thought, you know, some of those same women want to get together and go to the movie, and we can't come up on a date where we can all go.
Was he Taylor Swift?
No.
Well, if you haven't read the book, it's a very interesting book. And
It
basically,
is.
the Indians got moved into this, you know, how they moved on to reservations, and it was supposed to be the land that was the worst land, right? Because nobody else wanted it. Well, it turned out there was oil in that land, and the Indians became
Uh-huh.
very rich. So the white people started marrying the Indians and then killing them off to get to the money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
quite
And
the story.
it's a true story.
Yeah, and it's where the FBI actually got started.
Yep.
It was like the
Wow.
first case that they did, so it's a pretty fascinating story.
Yeah, I think it was called The Killing of Flower Moon or something.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
There you go.
So if you don't see the movie, the book is good. Or you can do both.
And I just finished a really good book. It was called The Keeper of Happy Endings.
Lisa, are you teaching any other classes coming up where people can find you?
At the Indiana Bead Society's having our fall workshop, November 4th. And I'm gonna see if we'll do on Zoom if people are interested. Otherwise you'd have to be there in person. And then December 2nd, I'm teaching at the Hancock County Art Gallery here in town. And that would have to be an in-person. Yeah, so that's what I have lined up so far. Yeah, that's better. I didn't want to line up anything too much further in advance since I'm having my surgery on one hand November 1st. And then they'll probably schedule the other hand sometime in December. And I won't be able to, I can bead with my right hand. They're doing my left hand first. So I can bead with my right hand. But then when they do the other one, I don't know when I'll be able to get back to it.
Oh, sure. Well, and it's even hard, it's clumsy to hold with your left hand when you don't realize
Yeah.
to use your left hand until it's,
But you can't.
yeah. I
Yeah.
broke my wrist, and so I was in a sling, and you know, even like getting stuff into and out of the microwave with one hand is it's quite the trick with one hand.
Yeah, I have two classes for the workshop for our bead society, and one is a bracelet that's pretty advanced, and the other one is kind of a beginner, and it's on cork. It's a necklace.
Oh, wow. That was pretty. I'll be right back.
Whoops.
Okay. Yeah, I like that much better.
Well,
Okay, now the 3 beads should work just fine. Yep. And it'll make a nice wavy pattern around the cab. Then when you get to the bottom, you're going to pick up 20 beads, 20 11s. And the feather, string that on there. Go through the 11 at the other side. And that gives you your bottom of your pendant. And then just continue around. There we go.
So pretty.
Mhm.
So I'm really glad I pulled that out and fixed that because it wouldn't have been that wavy otherwise. And it's that's what makes it so pretty. It's that edge. And then I'll just do a ladder bail in between there to make it, you know, as wide as you need to based on whatever kind of chain you're going to put on, and you're ready to go.
So much fun, I tell you.
Yes, this was a wonderful class. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really am.
Yeah, it's a great pendant or ornament, or, you know,
Like it.
you could just sew it
You
on your
could
jean
make-
jacket.
Yeah. You could even make, I mean, if you had a smaller cab, you could maybe even make earrings,
Mm-hmm.
you know, not use as many tilas.
I don't know, big earrings are very in fashion, so I don't see why you can't.
You've got a long
I'm
neck.
not a big earring person myself, but I have a short neck, so I can't do big earrings. Although they were talking about that on the Today Show yesterday on one of the hours, I forget which one, but they were saying like the big chunky earrings like from the 80s are coming back.
They are, they're very popular. And the long fringes, and so it's you know, everything goes in phases, comes and goes, it just depends.
Yep.
And so anything goes, honestly. So this, yeah, but it's a great technique that you could upsize or downsize, absolutely. And so thank you so much. And if there's any pictures you guys want to share of your finished projects, post them in the event on Facebook, and that way everybody can see them as well, you know, in the comments section if you post your pictures when you're done.
Yeah, I'd love to see them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good,
It's
that's
so groovy. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody, today. I'm going to stop. See ya at Facebook. Have a great day.
All right, thank you.
And so we had to stop the Facebook. So Facebook is stopped now. And so then let's